All right, let's jump right in. If you're a real estate agent, you know the game isn't just about closing one deal. It's about building a business that lasts. Today, we're going to look at a strategy that does just that. It turns that moment you hand over the keys into the start of a long referral-generating relationship.
So this is the big question, isn't it? It's the one that every great agent thinks about. You've just walked your client through one of the biggest purchases of their life. You hand over the keys and then crickets. That silence right after the sale, that's a huge missed opportunity for referrals, for great reviews, and for future business. But what if you could actually bridge that gap for good? So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at that relationship gap. Then I'll introduce you to a new kind of partner. We'll see how your clients benefit, how that funnels back to your business, and finally, how this whole thing gives you a serious competitive edge. Okay, let's tackle the main problem head on, the post-sale relationship gap. You know what I'm talking about. It's that time right after closing where your role as the go-to trust advisor just kind of fades away. You risk becoming just a memory of a transaction instead of a continuous resource. And in this market, staying relevant is absolutely everything. So how do you stay relevant? Well, you do it by introducing a partner that keeps delivering value long after you've closed the deal. We're talking about A10 Axes Remodeling Group. They have this really innovative way of looking at property care that lets you extend your service and your value way beyond just handing over the keys. And the secret sauce to this whole strategy is their property care subscription. Now, don't just think of this as some basic maintenance contract. It's way more than that. The best way to think of it is like a complete wellness plan, but for a house. It's proactive, it's all in one, and it's simple, which makes it the perfect thing to offer your clients right after they move in. All right, now for the good stuff. Let's see how this whole thing builds your brand by first looking at the incredible value it gives to your clients. Because let's be honest, when your clients are happy and totally stress-free long after the sale, guess who they remember? They remember you, the person who made it all possible. The very first promise to your clients is just pure simplicity. It doesn't matter if they bought a house, an office, or an investment property, A10 Axes handles it all. Just think about the relief on a new homeowner's face when you can tell them, hey, you don't need to hunt down a plumber, an electrician, and handyman. You just need one number, the one you gave them. And that one point of contact, they actually deliver clear, direct communication. This is so crucial. We're talking no call centers, no confusing phone trees. Your client gets to work directly with an expert team. They get honest, straight-up advice, which just reinforces their trust in your recommendation, and by extension, their trust in you. And of course, the work itself is top-notch. I mean, we're talking about clean finishes, durable work, and absolutely no shortcuts. Look, anytime you recommend a partner, your reputation is on the line. Knowing that the job is going to be done right gives you the confidence to make that introduction every single time without hesitation. Now, let's talk about those moments that really define the whole homeownership experience. Emergencies. Burst pipes, the HVAC going out in the middle of summer. These are those high-stress situations where your client needs help and they need it like yesterday. And with a subscription, your clients get priority emergency response. Just take a look at this feedback from Mike R. Same-day service for a broken HVAC. I mean, come on. When you're the agent who provided the connection that literally saved the day, you're not just a realtor anymore. You're a hero. And hey, this isn't just for regular homeowners. If you have investor clients, the value here is just off the charts. You are single-handedly taking them from the absolute chaos of juggling a dozen contractors and getting those 2 a.m. emergency calls to a streamlined system with one person to contact. You're not just selling them a property, you're helping them manage their asset way more effectively. And here's the proof right here. Chris, an investor, he says it all. Everything is streamlined. When you could offer a solution that cuts down on an investor's stress and just makes their life easier, you cement your role as their go-to strategic advisor for their entire portfolio. But what about the big plans? What if your client wants to do a huge renovation? Well, this partnership has a solution for that too. We're talking accessible financing options with funding all the way up to $200,000. And the process? It is unbelievably fast. The application literally takes just 60 seconds. You're removing all that friction that so often stops a great project before it even gets off the ground. And with really competitive rates starting at just 7.99% APR, you're actually empowering your clients to turn the house they just bought into the home of their dreams. And that just strengthens their positive connection to you and the whole experience. Okay, so your clients are thrilled. They feel taken care of, they have total peace of mind. and they see you as this incredible resource. So let's get down to the bottom line. How does all of this directly lead to growth for your business?
It's a pretty direct cause and effect, right? Your client gets peace of mind, you get the credit as their trusted advisor. They have a stress-free experience owning their home, you get glowing reviews and a much stronger reputation. That fantastic post-sale experience, it fuels the most powerful marketing engine on the planet, word-of-mouth referrals.
And here's the thing, you can make this recommendation with total 100% confidence. Every single job is backed by a 1-year workmanship warranty, and all the materials are covered by the full manufacturer's warranty. This makes it a totally risk-free recommendation that protects your client, and just as importantly, it protects your professional integrity. So when you put all of these pieces together, it becomes way more than just a nice little service to offer. It actually becomes your new competitive edge. It's a way to fundamentally stand out in a really, really crowded market. Ultimately, it really boils down to this choice. You can keep being a transactional agent where your value pretty much ends the second the deal closes, or you can evolve into a long-term advisor where your relationship and your value just gets deeper and deeper over time. You stop competing just on commission, and you start competing on a foundation of incredible service and true partnership. So the real takeaway here is this. That period after a sale, it doesn't have to be a liability or a missed opportunity anymore. In fact, it can be the very engine that drives your future growth. So the only question left is, are you ready to make post-sale service your next competitive edge?